Question states that match the following column 1 and column 2 and choose the correct option. Column 1, shoulder joint. Shoulder joint is a type of ball and socket joint, and shoulder joint is formed by articulation of head of humerus with the glenoid cavity of scapula. So, A matches with. Fourth, triangular flat bone. Scapula is a triangular flat bone. So, B matches with 1. 11th and 12th pair of ribs, these are the floating ribs, also known as vertebral ribs, because they are connected dorsally with the vertebral column with thoracic vertebrae, but ventrally they are not attached to sternum. So, they are known as vertebral ribs or floating ribs. They protect our kidneys. So, C matches with 3. D, collarbone, also known as clavicle. Clavicle has two curvature, and one end of clavicle articulates with acromion process of scapula and another end articulates with manubrium of sternum. So, D matches with 2. Let us see this combination is given in which option? A with 4, B with 1, C with 3 and D with 2. This is given in option 2 and correct answer to our question is option number 2. Now proceeding to the next question, students. Question states that choose the bacterial STI. STI stands for sexually transmitted infection, and the options given are first option malaria. Malaria is a protozoan disease. It is caused by the protozoa Plasmodium and it is not a STI. So, this cannot be a correct answer. Second option cancer. Cancer is not a sexually transmitted infection. So, this cannot be a correct answer. Third option trichomoniasis. Trichomoniasis is a protozoan disease caused by Trichomonas vaginalis and it is a STI but not the bacterial STI. So, this cannot be a correct answer. Fourth option gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is caused by Neisseria gonorrhoeae, a bacteria and it is a STI also. So, correct answer to our question is option number D, gonorrhea. Now, proceeding to the next question. Question states that restriction endonucleases. We have to choose the option which is true for restriction endonucleases, and the options given are first option cleave only single stranded DNA at the terminal end. This is incorrect because restriction endonucleases, as the name indicate, they cut within the DNA but not at the terminal ends, and they cut at specific site. They cut both the strands of DNA between the same two bases. Second option, joins two DNA fragments by hydrogen bonds. This is incorrect because restriction endonucleases cut DNA and not join DNA. Third option, cut the DNA strands at palindromic site. Yes, this is correct. Restriction endonucleases cut at specific site and these specific sites are palindromic in nature. Fourth option, always produce sticky ends. This is incorrect because restriction endonucleases may produce sticky ends or blunt ends. For example, EcoR1 produces sticky ends while SMA1 produces blunt ends. So, correct answer to this question is option number C. Now, proceeding to the next question, students. Question states that select the factor which does not favor the formation of oxyhemoglobin, and the options given are first option low PCO2. Low PCO2 favors the formation of oxyhemoglobin. So, this cannot be a correct answer. Second option high PO2. Partial pressure of oxygen is the primary factor which is responsible for the formation of oxyhemoglobin, and high PO2 favors oxyhemoglobin formation. So, this cannot be a correct answer. Third option low temperature. Low temperature also favors formation of oxyhemoglobin. So, this cannot be a correct answer. Fourth option high H plus ion concentration, or we can say low pH. This factor favors dissociation of oxyhemoglobin. High H plus concentration and high PCO2 at tissue level favors dissociation of oxyhemoglobin, and this effect is known as Bohr's effect. So, students, Bohr's effect explains unloading of oxygen from oxyhemoglobin at tissue level due to high PCO2 and high H plus ion concentration. So, correct answer to our question is option number D, fourth option. Proceeding to the next question. Question states that a salt retaining hormone responsible for reabsorption of sodium and water from renal tubules is, and the options given are first option ANF, second option renin, third option ADH and fourth option aldosterone. ANF is atrial natriuretic factor, and this ANF is a peptide hormone secreted by the wall of atria, myocardium region, and ANF is released in response to the high blood pressure, and its function is to decrease blood pressure. It decreases blood pressure by causing vasodilation and by promoting natriuresis, that is passage of more sodium in the urine. When more sodium passes in the urine, then more water passes in the urine and promotes diuresis. This cannot be a correct answer because it is not retaining sodium and water. Second option, renin. Renin is released in response to low GFR. JG cells, juxtaglomerular cells, secrete renin in response to low GFR, and this renin converts angiotensinogen of blood into angiotensin 1, and angiotensin 1 converts into angiotensin 2 by the angiotensin converting enzyme present in the lungs. Angiotensin 2 acts on adrenal cortex and stimulates it to release aldosterone. Then aldosterone acts on the renal tubules and facilitates reabsorption of sodium and water. But renin is not directly involved in the reabsorption of sodium and water from the renal tubules, so this cannot be a correct answer. Third option, ADH. ADH stands for antidiuretic hormone, also known as vasopressin. This ADH is released in response to high osmolarity. Whenever there is high osmolarity, then neurohypophysis releases ADH, and this ADH acts on the DCT and CD, increases their permeability for water, and water reabsorption occurs. So this cannot be a correct answer. Fourth option, aldosterone. Aldosterone is a mineralocorticoid. This aldosterone acts on the distal parts of the renal tubules and facilitates reabsorption of sodium and water, and it is also known as salt retaining hormone. So correct answer to our question is option number D. Now proceeding to the next question.